What even is the Northland? If you're not from Kansas City, that phrase might sound like it's straight out of Game of Thrones. But around here, it's one of the fastest growing parts of the metro. Technically, the Northland includes everything north of the Missouri River, covering the northern half of Kansas City, Missouri, along with suburbs like Parkville, Liberty, Gladstone, and Smithville. It spans Clay and Plaque counties, and for a long time, it was considered the quiet side of the city, more rural, less developed, and kind of its own thing. But over the last couple of decades, that has completely changed. New neighborhoods, top-ranked schools, and major developments have turned the Northland into a place people are intentionally seeking out, not just passing through. So in this video, I'm gonna break down where the Northland actually is, why so many people are moving there, and whether or not it makes sense for your next move. And real quick, if you're thinking about relocating to Kansas City and wanna go a layer deeper, book a call with our team using the Calendly link in the description below. We're a team of realtors and have helped hundreds of people move to Kansas City, so if you're considering the same, we'd love to help you too. Now, to really understand the Northland, you've got to zoom out, literally. After World War II, Kansas City entered an era of explosive horizontal growth. But unlike some cities where growth happened mostly in the suburbs, Kansas City took a different approach. It expanded its city limits dramatically through annexation. Between 1946 and 1964, the population of Kansas City grew by just 12%, from around 434,000 to 486,000. But the city's land area, that ballooned by over 423%, from 60 square miles to more than 314. A huge chunk of that growth happened north of the river, where farmland was rapidly turning into subdivisions, strip malls, and highways. Instead of leaving that expansion to independent suburbs, Kansas City just kept annexing. That's why when you look at a map today, you'll see large parts of the Northland, areas that feel like suburbs, still technically within Kansas City, Missouri city limits. But there are also true suburbs in the mix. Liberty, for example, is one of the oldest towns in the state and still has a traditional town square. Parkville leans more upscale and scenic with bluff-top views and river access. Gladstone is a bit more established, more residential, while Smithville is more rural, centered around the lake. For decades, though, the Northland was still seen as the other side, disconnected from downtown, quieter, and often overlooked. But recently, that started to shift in a big way. When people hear the Northland, it sounds like a big area, but the reality is it stretches across 2 counties, dozens of neighborhoods, and a whole mix of lifestyles. Everything north of the Missouri River in the Kansas City metro falls under this umbrella, covering all of Plaque County to the west and Clay County to the east. So let's start with Plaque County. This is where you'll find the new Kansas City International Airport, which, like it or not, has completely changed the conversation around the Northland. They upgraded the terminal back in 2023, and it brought with it more direct flights, more attention, and that has a ripple effect for everything from tourism to housing demand. Just south of the airport is Tiffany Springs, which has seen a lot of growth recently. You've got shopping at Zona Rosa, tons of new construction, and quick access to major highways. It still technically falls under Kansas City, Missouri city limits, but it has a very suburban feel. And then there's Parkville, which is easily one of the most charming towns in the entire metro. Parkville sits right along the Missouri River and has a historic downtown that looks like something out of a Hallmark movie. Think boutique shops, cafes, a local farmers market, and views for days. Park University and English Landing Park bring in students, locals, and tourists alike, and the housing ranges from historic homes to multi-million-dollar new builds tucked up in the hills. Now, if you keep heading northwest, you'll hit Platte City, a quieter, more rural town that's grown steadily in recent years. It's still the kind of place where you'll find family farms, acreage, and neighbors who know your name. It's not for everyone, but if you want space and don't mind the extra drive, it's worth checking out. Now let's shift over to Clay County, and you'll find a completely different vibe. Closer to the river, you've got Gladstone, one of those suburbs that sort of flies under the radar. It's full of tree-lined streets, older brick ranches from the 60s and 70s, and a real sense of community. It's also where a lot of first-time homebuyers land when they want to be close to downtown without the downtown price tag. Keep going northeast and you'll run into Liberty, and Liberty feels like a true small town in the best way. It's got a beautiful historic square, great local shops and restaurants, and one of the top-rated school districts in all of Clay County. It's also home to William Jewell College, which brings with it a bit of a collegiate vibe to the area. For families looking for strong schools and a sense of tradition, Liberty's a go-to. Now, even further north is Smithville, which we covered in depth in our most expensive suburbs video. Smithville is best known for Smithville Lake. So if lake life is on your wish list, but you don't want to drive an hour out of town, this is one of the best options in the metro. It still feels rural, but the demand for homes near the lake, especially newer construction, is real. And then there's North KC, which is technically its own city, and it sits just across the river from downtown and feels completely different from the rest of the Northland. A lot of it is super walkable, packed with breweries, bars, and independent businesses, and has this quirky, creative energy that feels more like a neighborhood in Portland than suburban Missouri. Then you have neighborhoods like Briarcliff, which offers some of the best views of the downtown skyline and has quietly become one of the most in-demand neighborhoods for buyers who want proximity with personality. So yeah, the Northland isn't just one place. It's a collection of cities, communities, and hidden gems that all offer something different. Whether you're after the charm of Parkville, the convenience of Gladstone, the school districts in Liberty, or the lake life in Smithville, you can probably find your fit somewhere north of the river. One of the biggest factors that draws people to the Northland is schools, and we're not just talking about one district. The Northland is home to several high-performing school districts, including Park Hill, Liberty, North Kansas City, and Smithville. These aren't just solid on paper, they built reputations for strong academics, competitive sports, and newer facilities that rival what you'd find in more expensive suburbs to the south. Park Hill and Liberty are probably the best-known districts, and they consistently rank among the top public schools in the metro. Park Hill in particular has seen rapid growth, leading to new schools being built and boundaries shifting to accommodate more families. And because housing in these areas tends to be more affordable than places like Overland Park or Leawood, a lot of people see the Northland as a way to get great schools without the Johnson County price tag. But education isn't the only thing shaping daily life up here. The Northland has also stepped up big in terms of lifestyle. It's not just strip malls and subdivisions anymore. You've got real community hubs, outdoor spaces, and growing local businesses. If you're into parks and trails, you've got English Landing Park in Parkville, along with the Parkville Nature Sanctuary, Hodge Park in Kansas City North, and Smithville Lake for boating, hiking, and camping. Shoal Creek Living History Museum is another hidden gem. It's a historic village tucked inside a nature preserve that hosts events year-round. And when it comes to local flavor, North Kansas City is the star of the show. Chicken and Pickle, Cinderblock Brewery, the Rabbit Hole, and the Iron District. North Kansas City packs more personality per square mile than just about anywhere else north of the river. It's become a weekend destination even for people who don't live nearby. Plus, with the new airport terminal up and running, there's even more potential for growth in the years ahead, including restaurants, hotels, entertainment, and business development aimed at making the Northland more self-sustaining. Bottom line, if you're looking for a place that balances family-friendly neighborhoods, strong schools, access to nature, and up-and-coming amenities, the Northland has a lot going for it, and it's only getting better. Now, the Northland draws all kinds of people, but don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean it's the right fit for everyone. If you're the type of person who values space, quiet streets, and a little more breathing room between you and your neighbors, there's a good chance the Northland will feel like home. A lot of the newer neighborhoods are designed with that in mind. Bigger lots, cul-de-sacs, 3-car garages, and walking trails just outside your door. It's also ideal for families who want strong schools without paying a premium. Compared to Johnson County, many homes in the Northland offer more square footage for your dollar, especially in places like Liberty, Platte City, and Smithville. And if you're the kind of person who still wants a sense of community but doesn't need to be right in the middle of all the action, places like Parkville or North Kansas City offer a slower pace with just enough buzz, whether that's local breweries, farmers markets, or events like Parkville Days. Now that said, there are trade-offs. If you're someone who thrives on walkability or want to be surrounded by historic buildings, coffee shops, and restaurants all within a few blocks, the Northland might feel a little too suburban. While there are walkable pockets, a lot of the area is still built around the car. You'll likely be driving to get where you want to go. And for folks who work south of the river, the commute will definitely be a factor, especially with traffic across the river bridges during peak hours. It's not a deal breaker, but it's definitely something worth considering depending on where you're working. The good news is the Northland is constantly evolving. As more people move here, you're seeing a push for better infrastructure, more local businesses, and new development that makes it easier to live, work, and play. So if you're after a more laid-back lifestyle, great schools, and room to grow, and you're okay with trading a little walkability for a lot more house, the Northland might just be your next move. So what even is the Northland? It's not just a direction, it's a community, a part of Kansas City that's growing fast, evolving quickly, and still holding on to that Midwest charm that makes this place feel like home. From walkable pockets like North Kansas City to quiet lake towns like Smithville, the Northland offers options. It's not trying to be the next downtown, and that's kind of the point. For a lot of people, it's the balance they've been looking for. More space, less noise, and a neighborhood that still feels connected. And whether you're just starting to explore Kansas City or you've lived here your whole life and are considering to move across the river, we'd love to help. You can download one of our free guides down in the description below or shoot us an email at info@movingtokc.net and let's talk about what makes the most sense for you. And if you want to keep learning more about the neighborhood shaping Kansas City's future, check out this next video here where we break down the 10 most popular suburbs in the metro right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.